Ho ho ho! Welcome back, guys. Happy Sunday, and most importantly, happy June. Right? This is the time of the year when coin collectors and the big money, big deep pockets collectors take the summer off. But based off of what I've seen today or this week in general in the auction scene, it's just not so. It looks like people aren't ready to head for vacation yet, and the sales were especially strong this week heading into the Long Beach Heritage Auction sale, okay, which is going to be next week. It's incredible. I'm telling you, you have got to see what went on this week. So stay tuned. But before we get started, as always, I got to throw this in there. Subscribe, hit the bell for instant notifications. And you know why? Because I'm going to be doing giveaways to give back to my patrons and subscribers and all my loyal viewers. I want to thank everyone for making it an absolute wonderful channel. This channel does not exist without you. So thank you. God bless. And let's go ahead and get started with the Monday market report for the week ending June 2nd. Yes, we are high into June, and we have some pretty notable sales. We got 12, 13 coins that we're going to talk about. And generally with these Monday market reports, I focus on coins that are post-1950 in what we call the age of the modern era. All right, but because of that, I'm going to start it off with a coin which was probably my favorite out of every single coin that sold this past week. And it wasn't a modern, believe it or not. It's crazy to think. But here we have an 1882 Morgan dollar. That is just an absolute beast with all this original coloring that you see. This is a true man's man of a toner coin. It's double-sided. All right, so I don't, this thing was preserved and kept away in some area where, it just had just enough time to kind of marinate all these colors together into a coin that you see here. Now, this is an example that's sold on eBay May 26th of 2019, so a few days ago. This one was graded, by the way, PCGS Mid-State 67. With all things considering, this combines both a high grade and superb eye appeal that makes this an absolute all-original coin. Hasn't been messed with ever since its mintage. This coin sold for $12,500 this past week. And I gotta say, coins like this don't typically come up for sale. Usually, it's going to be like, a one-sided, absolutely stunning toned coin straight from a mint bag. That's probably 80 years old. But to see it double-sided in this fashion with all of this mashing of colors, and, it's a 67 to boot. You put it all together and you have a coin that is worth every bit the $12,500. So congratulations to both the seller and the winner. The bidder is the winner in this one. So that's the 1882 Morgan silver dollar. So coming up next right here, we have one more eBay coin I wanted to highlight. And this is what I'm talking about. This is another bomb of a coin that I should have talked about last week in that Monday market report. But with all of the Stack's Bowers completed sales for the Baltimore Whitman show, I couldn't get to this one. This is a 1964 Kennedy half dollar. And if this one looks kind of proof-like or maybe even a special mint set look to it, you're wrong. This is an actual business strike coin. It looks like the very first coin that was struck out of a new fresh set of dies on that minting press, and then there was a mint employee wearing his cotton gloves or whatever, doing the white glove service, catching it as it was being ejected out of the striking chamber. This thing is an NGC Mint State 68. It is almost proof-like. This thing is an absolute monster. It sold for $20,000 May 17th, 2019. Now, if I would have said that a 1964 silver Kennedy half dollar sold for 20 grand, you guys would be shaking your hand. You say, "Oh yeah, Blue Ridge, you silly old goat." Yeah, this one is a huge coin. Okay, it is the finest known, by the way, by NGC, and there are no words to describe this coin other than whoa. Yeah, because it's that crazy. So we're going to go ahead and get into all of the great collections coins that sold this past week, okay, and then we're going to do it denominationally. If you thought the first two coins were absolutely insane, you got to check out some of these coins on here, okay? As prefaced in my thumbnail, okay, there's some pretty amazing later dated coins that sold for probably more money than what it's ever going to be worth again. But I digress on this whole thing. We're just going to go ahead and dive right in with the first coin on the list, and it's a 2013 Lincoln Shield set. All right, this series right here isn't normally synonymous with what we would typically refer to as a high-end coin, but when one comes up graded PCGS Mint State 69 full red, and it sells for $1,518.75, it kind of changes the narrative. Okay, coins in grades above 67 are so progressively difficult in the Lincoln Shield Cent series for a couple of reasons. Poor planchet quality before they're struck, and the rinses that the U.S. Mint uses to clean the planchets, okay, transfer over to a finished product where they come up as either unsightly black carbon spots or just tiny little white specks all over the place. You know, it really kills the amount of coins that grade in that higher echelon of 68 and 69. All right, this is a tough date right here, but it is one of the more, I don't know if this is a redeeming factor in this, but this is one of the more easier dates, the 2013, to find in 68 and above. Okay, case in point, we have a 69 that sold for $1,500. That's pretty crazy to me, just how a new coin of this caliber sells for that kind of money. But anyways, that's a collector's choice right there. So coming up next, we have another phenomenal Lincoln cent, and this is one that we're all too familiar with. It's a 1992D close AM variety Lincoln cent. Okay, as we all know, they inadvertently used a proof die on some of these 1992 strikes in both the Philadelphia and Denver Mint, all right, which resulted in a modified reverse in which the A and M are a little bit more widely apart on the back of the coin. All right, so they are more closer. Sorry, jeez, I had them mixed up with the 98, 99, 2000. But no, this one right here inadvertently has the close A and the M where they're almost touching. Okay, the typical normal reverse will have the AM far apart, and then the A will appear a little bit wider as well. Okay, that's just the way that they're designed in the relief there. So this one right here is a PCGS Mint State 64 red. I'm kind of like 50-50 on the whole red part. This looks more red-brown than anything else. But nonetheless, this one sold this evening for $3,740.62. I'm glad to see these coins still command a pretty good market as more and more of these are being discovered. They're kind of holding pat at the respective grade levels. Okay, we saw a few AUs and all that sell here in the last 6 months for about half the amount of money. So it's nice to see this particular grade, you know, although I'm trying to be objective with the grading and the whole review part because I feel like this is just a shade brown for me. So a full red is kind of like, you know, I don't know, it's a tough one. I don't quite 100% agree, but, you know, it's like so close and it's towing that fine line between, you know, a red, brown, and a red. But anyways, that's the close AM. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what I would consider to be the most craziest listings out of this bunch. And it's all in the Jefferson Nickels. The first one is a 1995 Jefferson Nickel, in which this one was graded PCGS Mint State 67 plus with full steps. I kind of thought that these coins were already well struck and were supposed to be superb when they first came out. You know, but at the same time, we're talking about a time period, you know, that was late 80s into the 90s where, you know, not a lot of these were preserved in pristine condition. So this one right here, again, is a Mint State 67 plus, full steps. As you can see, it looks pretty good. There's a couple tiny nicks, but they don't overall distract from the quality of the strike. Now, this bad boy sold for $4,500. Now, who in their right mind would imagine spending $4,500 for a coin that's barely 20 years old, in which there was millions produced, that just goes to show you that the modern coin market and the grading level of it is still very strong, even going into the June summer months. Okay, it's pretty crazy. So, not to be outdone, we also have a 1989 Jefferson Nickel. This one right here is graded out a point lower at PCGS Mint State 66 Plus. Full steps. Again, another coin that I thought, because it is a Denver, is well struck, and they're out there in pretty good numbers. But I guess that's not the case, because someone paid $2,531.25 for this particular example this evening. Another fantastic coin, and these are all, by the way, probably going into some high-end registry set, and you have 2 or 3 bidders, battling it out at the last minute to fetch an example that is as nice as this. Now, the next one that we have here is a 1983 Jefferson Nickel. Now, they advertise this one as toned, but I don't like it. All right, I don't like the tone, because this is more of a kind of like a mint set haze. All right, it's not really what I would consider to be true blue toning. As a matter of fact, if you had the coin in hand, you could actually rub that haze off with your finger. Okay, so the toning part of it, I don't know if I quite agree with it. But they assigned a PCGS Mint State 66 Plus full steps. Now, this one is an absolute insane amount of money. $5,062.50. Again, who in their right mind would imagine spending this kind of money for this kind of coin on any other day? Apparently, there's a bunch of Sunday collectors happening this week, and it all worked out, okay, for both buyer and seller. All right, so just when you think we're done with Jefferson Nickels, we have a few more here, and then coming up next, we have a 1966 Jefferson Nickel. My least favorite type of date, because these things are so mushy, and it's hard to find one with an acceptable strike that would be considered gradable or even collectible. This one is a PCGS Mint State 64 full steps. It is just a 64, nothing earth-shattering, but the price sure as heck isn't. This is a coin that sold for $2,812.50 on GC this evening, an insane amount of money as well. And then coming up next here, the final Jefferson Nickel out of the crop, and it's going to be a 1952S. Now we're talking more like of, this is tough. This is the type of coin, if it graded out full steps, would be worth every single imaginable cent. Okay, this one right here is in a Omaha Bank Hoard pedigree. All right, so this came from the Omaha Bank Hoard, whatever that means. It came from some bank in Nebraska. A bunch of well-preserved coins. Okay, there's a lot of Omaha Bank pedigree coins out there graded today. So this one right here, graded PCGS Mint State 66 Plus, again with full steps. The full steps is a little subjective on this one, because it's like, oh, it's so undeniably close to not being full steps that I feel like that this one just made it. Okay, they were gifted this one. This one sold for $2,756.25. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to a couple Roosevelt Dimes. I don't typically talk about Roosevelt Dimes because there's just not any commandable, notable type of listings that come up, but we have 2 that I wanted to discuss. The first in which is a 1987P. This is a Philly minted coin. Roosevelt Dime that graded PCGS Mint State 67 Plus with a full torch. So it's got those very distinctive center lines on the bands on the reverse. You have a full strike on this coin. And this one, I'm glad to say, sold for $2,025. All right, I'm glad to see coins like this getting their due, even though it's so incredibly tough to grade out with a full torch for some of these dates. And furthermore, okay, the Roosevelt Dime kind of like market, whether you're a registry set collector or just a general collector of the set that doesn't participate in all of the grading mishmash. All right, this is such a narrow market that I'm afraid that someone buys this and then they try and sell it in 2-3 years or even 5 years. They're not going to get back the value. Okay, it's not like Lincoln Cents or Jefferson Nickels, so it's kind of tough. It's a lot of money, but however much people spend on their coins is not any of my business. I just love reporting them. So we have one more dime coming up here. It's a 1954S Roosevelt Dimes. So we got a little silver action here for you. This one graded out PCGS Mint State 68. Now there's a really valid reason why I put this coin on here. It just goes to show you that it doesn't need to have a full strike with full torch or anything like that to be a widely collectible coin. Okay, in this case, this is a coin that graded 68. So it is a high level grade. Okay, it's got nice luster, it's clean, very market acceptable. This one sold for $928.12. It is the lowest price coin on the list, but it's worth mentioning because it is a coin that doesn't have any fancy designations of strike, or it's not CAC certified, it's not toned or anything fancy. It's just a really nice high-end example of this coin. So I'm glad it sold for that. All right, so we have one Washington quarter. It's a 1990D. Washington quarter, and this one right here is a pretty nice, respectable graded PCGS Mint State 67 plus. These are getting tougher to find, but the market on them just hasn't quite caught up to the collector base. This one sold for $1,182.25. A pretty decent coin, you know. That I don't know. It's one of those coins that it's either you love it or hate it, because, you know, during the 80s and 90s with the whole eagle back, it was getting tired. The design needed to be changed, and voila, you know, we had the state quarter program. And it sounds like people want to go back to the old eagle back reverse, you know. But anyways, it's a pretty nice coin, pretty clean. And we have two more coins, and I reserved the last two as kind of a good way to kind of like, you know, shoot off fireworks and, you know, bid adieu to this particular Monday market report. The first one that we have here is a 1964 Kennedy half dollar, but not just any Kennedy half dollar. This one is a proof coin. This one is an NGC graded proof 69 with superb ultra cameo surfaces. This one has all the legs. It's a nice high grade, and it's a very popular date in half dollars. This one sold for $2,518.88. A truly marvelous coin. But when you look at this coin and you compare it to the final coin on the list of the Monday market report, you're just going to be floored. Okay, what we have here to finish things off is a pretty rare 1957 Franklin half dollar, but not just any Franklin half dollar. Like I said before, this is an NGC graded proof 69 ultra cameo. Ultra cameo 69. This is like the impossible dream right here. This is like, I don't know. There is nothing else like this in a coin that is 62 years old, nearly perfect grade with ultra cameo in a particular series, which is extremely difficult to find these type of coins. Okay, this coin, I would venture to guess, was, you know, socked away in some collection, you know, for the longest time. Okay, and then someone came up and found it, and gosh darn it, they found a huge beast of a coin. This one sold on Great Collections for $24,187.50. $24,000. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you go out with a bang this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed the Monday market report. It was a little bit longer, but there was some pretty interesting stuff here. Probably one of the most interesting Monday market reports I've had in quite a while. And I think it really kind of like, I don't know, it's the pure sheer timing of these realized sales. Okay, hot off the heels of a very successful Baltimore Whitman show that was hosted by Stax Bowers, and then we have the Long Beach sale coming up here in a week, hosted by Heritage Auctions. Okay, you typically see a drop down in the amount of activity on the secondary market from like sources like eBay and Great Collections. There's just not a whole lot, but in this case, collectors are still in it to win it right now. Okay, call it kind of like bridging the gap between two big shows. But this is typically the time of year when the market slows down, because all the big time collectors go on vacation, and they just, you know, they put a, you know, they flip their sign around, it's closed for the summer, you know, and it just isn't the case. People are still hot on the trails for some of the high-end coins, and it shows in the market. So I want to thank you guys for joining in this particular Monday Market Report to kick off the summer. As always, subscribe, hit the bell for instant notifications. I'm going to be doing giveaways all summer long. Maybe not a 57 Franklin Ultra Cameo 69, but how about I take something like that and split it down into, a few dozen really cool giveaways that doesn't equal $24,000, but you guys will appreciate, some of the good gifts of giving because, you guys have given to me for a number of years, and I want to do this especially for you. So you guys take care. Have a wonderful Monday, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Take care.